Hi everyone, welcome to our seventh session of Managing Strategic Resources and Operation. My name is Dr. Reza Akbari and I'm the subject coordinator of this unit. Today we're going to talk about resource management. By the end of this session, you can describe the overall framework for resource planning in both goods or producing and service producing organization. Explain the three basic strategy for aggregate planning. We will touch base on MPS and MRP as well, and you'll be able to explain the concept and application of capacity requirement planning as well. Resource management refers to the process of effectively and efficiently planning, executing, and controlling the resources necessary to produce goods or provide services within a supply chain. The main objective of resource management are to maximize profit and customer satisfaction, minimize costs, and maximize the benefit to the stakeholders of the non for profit organization. To achieve these objectives, resource management involves various tasks such as identifying and allocating resources, scheduling and coordinating activities, monitoring resource usage, and optimization of resource utilization. It requires careful planning and decision making to ensure that resources, including materials, equipment, personnel, and finances, are utilized optimally to meet production or service demand while minimizing waste and inefficiency. By effectively managing resources, organization can enhance their profitability by maximizing the utilization of available resources and minimizing expenses. Customer satisfaction is also prioritized by ensuring that resources are allocated appropriately to meet customer demand and deliver high quality product or services. In case of not for profit organization, resource management aim to maximize the benefit provided to stakeholders, such as beneficiaries or the community, by efficiently utilizing available resources. The resource planning framework consists of three key stages: aggregate planning, disaggregation, and execution. It is a structured approach used by organizations to effectively plan and manage their resources. So let's have a look at each of those three components that we mentioned in detail. Aggregation planning. In this stage, organizations develop a high-level plan to match the overall demand for goods or services within the available resources. The objective is to establish a rough estimate of resources required, such as labor, materials, and equipment, over a specific time. Aggregate planning take into account factors like production capacity, anticipated demand, and strategic goals. The outcome of this stage is general plan that provide guideline for the subsequent steps. So aggregate planning is usually for a long-term output, and it helps to, for example, define output level over planning horizon of 1 or 2 years, usually in monthly or quarterly brackets. Focus on products families, and also we need to define budget allocation and associated resources requirements. After the aggregate plan is in place, the next step is disaggregation. Here, the high level plan is broken down into more detail and a specific plan for individual resources or departments. The objective is to allocate the necessary resources in a more granular manner, considering factors like production schedule, inventory level, staffing requirements, and material availability. Disaggregation involves converting the aggregate planning into actionable plan that can be executed on a day-to-day or weekly basis. And the final stage is the execution. This is a stage involve the actual implementation of a detailed plan developed in the disaggregation phase. It includes activities such as scheduling production, assign tasks to employee, procuring materials, and monitoring resource usage. Execution requires close coordination and communication among different departments or teams to ensure that resources are effectively utilized and productions or service targets are met. Regular monitoring and adjustment may be made during this stage to address any deviation from the planned resource allocation. So basically, by following this resource planning framework, organization can align their resource allocate allocation with demand, optimize resource utilization, and improve operational efficiency. It provides a structured approach to ensure that the right resources are available at the right time, enabling organization to meet customer needs, minimize costs, and maximize profitability. Enterprise Resource Planning (ERP) is a comprehensive software system designed to integrate and streamline various aspects of a business into unified information system. It brings together key functions such as accounting, customer relationship management, supply chain management, manufacturing, sales, and human resource, among others. The main objective of ERP is to provide centralized database and a standardized platform for managing and analyzing critical business data. By consolidating information from different departments and functions, ERP enables seamless communication, collaborations, and data sharing across the organizations. There are some key features of ERP is integration, data management, automations, analysis and report, and also flexibility as well. Implementing an ERP system offers several benefits, including improved operational efficiency, enhanced data accuracy, better customer service, streamlined supply chain management, optimized inventory control, and increased visibility into financial performance. Now, let's have a look at different strategies for aggregate planning. One is level production strategy. It's actually planned for the same production rate in each period, avoid changes in production rate, and working within normal capacity restrictions, level of equipment, schedule with stable and repetitive, and easy to execute the plan. So when we're looking at the pictures that we have here, we already leveled them. So for example, the blue color is the demand, all right? So what happened is we produce whatever we produce per month, all right? When the demand and the supply is same, that's fine. When the demand goes down in the middle, you can see the blue color goes down. We try to accumulate some more inventories. But when in the next cycle the demand goes high, we start using those inventories. The other one is on the strategies for aggregate planning is a chase demand. So there are some assumptions like sets the production rate equal to demand in each time period, inventories are reduced, lost sales eliminated, changes dramatically change the resource levels as well. So you can see the blue again, the blue color line in the picture is the demand. We actually chase the demand, so we don't produce the same as the previous one, which was level. So in the first period, for example, the demand and supply is equal. When the second period the demand goes down, we actually produce less as well. And then next period, which is the third period, when the demand goes higher, we produce high. The other strategy is minimum cost strategy, seeks to determine production level for each time period that minimize total cost. May be advantageous to produce more than needed in earlier time periods when production costs may be lower and store excess production as inventory for use in later time period. Lower production costs offset cost of holding inventories. Under disaggregation technique in manufacturing, there are three terms that we're going to learn: master production schedule (MPS), material requirement planning (MRP), and also capacity requirement planning (CRP). The master production schedule (MPS) is a statement that outlines the quantity of finished item to be produced and a specific timing for the production. It serves as a detailed plan that translates aggregate plan into separate plan for individual finished goods. The MPS is typically developed on a weekly basis and cover a time horizons of 6 to 12 months. It takes into account factors such as customer demand, production capacity, inventory levels, and lead time. By considering these variables, the MPS aim to ensure that the right amount of finished good is produced at the right time to meet the customer requirement while optimizing resources and minimizing costs. So MBS serves as a crucial link between the high-level aggregation plan and the detailed production planning. It enables effective coordination between different departments such as production, operations, sales, and procurement by providing a common reference for planning and execution. Material requirements planning (MRP) is a demand-based approach used to plan the production of manufacturing goods and manage the ordering of materials and components needed for production. The objective of MRP is to minimize unnecessary inventory, reduce costs, and ensure timely availability of the materials. So, MRP technically revolve around three fundamental questions. What is needed? MRP analyzes the bills of materials, which list in the components and raw materials required for manufacturing a finished product. By examining the product structure and specification, MRP identifies the specific material and component needed for production. The second question, how much is needed? So MRP determines the quantity of materials and components required by considering factors such as production schedule, lead time, and inventory level. It takes into account the demand for finished products and calculates the necessary quantities of each material or component to fulfill the demand. The third question, when is it needed? MRP determines the timing for ordering materials and components to ensure that they are available when needed for production. It considers lead time for procurement, production schedules, and design inventory level to determine the appropriate timing for placing orders. Based on the answer of these three questions, MRP generates a detailed production and procurement schedule. It provides guidance on when to release production order, when to place order for material and components, and the quantity required for each order. By aligning production and procurement activity with demand, MRP helps to minimize inventory carrying costs, avoid stockout, and improve production efficiency. MRP relies on accurate and up-to-date data, including sales forecasts, inventory levels, base times, lead times, and bills of materials. It is typically supported by a specialized software system that automate the calculation and generate the necessary calculates and order recommendation. Some of the input, as we mentioned, so for the MRPs like master schedule, one of the primary input of MRP is set which end item are to be produced, when these are needed, and in what quantity. So master schedule cover a period. For example, we can see, all right, in week 4 we need 100 quantity of this product. So then we need to go back and say, okay, assembly of that product takes us 2 weeks. Sub-assemblies maybe 2 weeks. We go back fabrication 3 weeks, and procurements maybe 2 or 3 weeks. So it means 9 weeks before we need to start the process. Another input of MRP is bill of materials, a listing of all of the assemblies, sub-assemblies, part, and raw materials needed to produce one unit of product. So we need to draw what we call a product a structure tree. So you can see on this picture, so on the top we have the finished chair, and then we try to say, okay, we need front legs, a crossbar, how many seats we need, how many back support we need, how many crossbars or side rails we need. So basically, this is the structure tree that we need to look into it. When we talk about bill of materials, there is something called lower level coding, restructuring the bill of materials so that multiple occurrence of the components are coincide with the lowest level at which components occur. So you can see in the graph on top we have level 0, which is the end item, and then we have level 1, these are components. So in order to produce X, we do need 2 B's and 1 C. In order to produce 2 B's, we need 3 D's and 1 E. So you can see by doing that, in total, we can see if there are any repetitive components that we need to count. Another input for MRP is the inventory record. So include information on status of each item by time period called time bucket. We're looking into gross requirement, schedule receipt, expected amount on hand, and also other details that is really important to us here: supplier lead time, lot size policy, change to do, stock receipt, and withdrawals, cancellations, and so on. Capacity requirement planning, or CRP, is a process that focuses on determining the amount of labor and machine resources required to accomplish the production task within a given time frame. It takes into account all the component parts and end item specific in the material planning. So the goal of CRP is to ensure that available capacity of production system align with the demand placed on it. By analyzing the production schedule and considering factors such as setup time, processing time, and order time, size, CRP helps determine the capacity required for each operation or work center. So the formula, as you can see here, in CRP to calculate the capacity requirement for an operation is a capacity requirement equal to setup time plus we have the process time times order size as well. So the capacity required is the sum of the setup time, which include the time needed to prepare the equipment, tools, materials of production, and the processing time, which is the time required to complete the actual production process. By performing capacity requirement planning, organization can assess the availability of the resources, identify potential bottlenecks or capacity constraints, and make informed decisions regarding production schedule, resource allocation, and workforce planning. This helps optimize the utilization of labor and machine resources, balance production loads, and ensure that production commitments can be met within the availability of the capacity. So the CRP is typically performed in conjunction with MRP to align the production schedule with the availability of the resources. In conclusion, resource management plays a critical role in optimizing the utilization of resources within an organization to produce goods or provide service efficiently. The resource planning framework consisting of aggregate planning, disaggregations, and execution provide a structured approach to align overall plan with individual operational requirement. In the context of manufacturing firm, disaggregation allows for the translation of aggregate planning into executable operation plans, ensuring the efficient allocation of resources at a detailed level. CRP further enhance production efficiency by determining the labor and machine resources required to accomplish production tasks. By integrating these practices, organization can effectively plan, execute, and control resources to achieve operational excellence and maximize productivity. And this is the end of this session today. I hope you enjoyed the session and I wish you all the best and good luck in your learning.